he has so much energy, you know? Trump has like the energy of like a divorced guy. You ever hang out with a guy who's like newly divorced? He's like, buddy, I'm living my life. I'm going on a trip. I just signed up for jujitsu. I'm on like, it's like, dude, calm down. Like, enjoy. Sit with your feelings a little. No, I'm gonna destroy the Department of Education. I'm kicking everybody out of my house. It's my house. We're cutting these kids off. You know, he just has the energy of a divorced guy. And so it's interesting to watch, man. It is. It's interesting to watch. Like that whole thing with Zelensky where they yelled at him. That was, my wife and I watched that together, and I was like, this is what happens when you don't have a TV in the living room. Like that's what, like they need to put a TV in the Oval Office, and I think, like, you ever been in a living room without a TV? If someone's like family, and then you're like, are you asking for an argument? Because sure enough, it's gonna happen. There's a bunch of people sitting around that don't usually talk to each other. And then you just go, what do you mean by that? But then there's a TV on, and you're like, wow, I love this commercial. Dude, have you seen the Geico? Have you seen it? A nice little commercial that'll break up any kind of steam. We're here, yeah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming out. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for showing up. Stamford. I didn't know this many people lived here. I'll say that. I didn't know this many people lived in Stamford that they're like, we could fill this room up. Every time I come through Connecticut, I don't know what's going on. I'll be honest. It seems like a secret. Like it's either like a busy city part where you're like, I don't think so. I don't know. And then you go out into then you get out of the towns, and it's just like, well, this is all haunted. Like, what is this? So it's either like haunted or too much, and there's like, is there a medium? There isn't. It's either a farmhouse churning butter, living with the ghosts of your ancestors, or just this. Okay, all right. It's either watch out for this buggy and a horse, or let's valet park. Let's do that. There's no in between in Connecticut. Thank you all for coming out. I love the setup of the stage. I love the gap here. Just like, it's like a splash zone setup. It just feels like whatever's going on, I'm the one that has it. And they're like, just let them be over there. We'll put one table very close. Just one table. Did those tickets cost less? Were they less? Be like, listen, there's two of them. You're going to be real close, but you will be alone. It'll just be you two and everyone else facing you going, why are they sitting so close? It just feels like you guys scooted your chairs up. Like, I don't know, like, scoot up. Just scoot up. We'll get up close. These people didn't do it. You're so far away. Man. Whoever did the seating in this place took a night off. I like it. They're like, I got an idea. It's very avant-garde. It's like those architects that build buildings, and you're like, how's that standing? There's like one in New York that's like an infamous building. Mike was telling me about it last night, where it was too thin. Like, it's just a straight-up building, and the wind, not good. And they didn't think about that. Like, that guy's still an architect somewhere. Like, that guy just left that job. Now he's designing another disaster somewhere. And so, yeah, that's how it goes. I like how when the laughs end, they really end right there, too. That's a real off-a-cliff drop-off. So we moved back, and we're back to visit. We've been here for a week, and it's been nice. I love it. I had like a homeless guy lunge at me. That was fun. I like it. I missed it. No one does that in San Diego. There's no lunging. You know, just to wake you up. You don't need a coffee after that. On your way to a coffee shop, someone's like, hey, you know, well. By the way, that was my response right there. It was yeah. Just a polite, I see you too, buddy. How are you? I realized, like, if that guy hit me, it would have taken so long to respond. Like, some people have, like, quick reflex. I don't have, like, my reflexes are, Like, I think that guy could have hit me 10 times before I realized I was in a fight. You need to be quicker, you know, and I'm just not. I don't do any of that. We did it. We had fun. We went to some brunch spot. I forget the name. All the restaurant names are getting out of control. We went to I think the Farmer's Daughter or something. I kind of miss when restaurants were just the guy's name. Remember that? Like, oh yeah, come on into DeMilly's, and then the owner was like, I'm DeMilly, and you're like, oh, I get it, because the name. You know, but now it's just like the farmer's daughter, the butcher's apprentice, and just the maitre d's attorney. Why don't you come over here? The goat's ex-wife. Like, come over here and and you're like, I don't even, just call it a restaurant. But yeah, we went to one of those, and it was fine. And then we tried to go to the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, and we're like, I'd like to look at some art. And then you see how many people are there, and you're like, I'll just buy a hat. I like it. That's one of the rare museums where the gift shop is by the entrance, where you have the choice of seeing the line of tourists that are going in, or you can just go get a hat and tell people that you went and checked out the MoMA. And that's what we did. I don't like a bunch of people at my art museum. That's for me. You know, I need space. I need to look at the art. I need to feel it. I don't need to see someone's head just creeping in. It's so bizarre. You ever look at a piece of art too long and you kind of get sucked in? And then you zoom out and you're like, oh my God, there's people next to me. Ugh, get away from me. Are we both having the same moment? Yuck. I don't know. Like, I also like to go to museums alone. I go with my wife or by myself. Like, I don't like to go with a group of friends. A lot of groups of friends like to go to museums. And I don't like it because I got nothing to say about the art. You know, I just look at it. That's all I do. But I don't want to talk about it. I don't want anyone to go, oh, what do you think he was feeling when he painted this? It's like, dude, don't turn this into a book report. Let me just enjoy the art. I'm looking at it. I just don't know how to describe my joy. That's all. Let me just enjoy the damn art. Like, last time we went to an art museum with friends, it was my wife's friend and her boyfriend that had to be friends with me. If you've never been... You know how that goes, where like they hit it off, and then you guys are like, well, we have to like each other because they like each other. And we all went to an art museum together. We went to the Whitney in New York, and the first painting was ceiling to floor, wall to wall, just a real specimen of a piece. And I was looking at it, and I was like, wow. And then the dude walked up to me, he's like, pretty impressive, huh? And I'm like, yeah, it's so big. Like, that's what and then as soon as I heard it, I'm like, did I just call the art big? Is that what I did? And then thankfully it was an art museum, so my voice just echoed through the giant hall. It's so big, big, big. And he's like, big? And I'm like, yeah. So then I had to explain why I called it big, and I was like, wow, you could tell this is the artist's later work, you know? Like, he probably had to sell some smaller ones until... he could afford a canvas. I don't know if you know how much canvases are. They're pretty high to... Buddy, have you been to a Michaels? It is... You'll be surprised, you know? You ever go to a Michaels and you're like, I'm going to get into painting. And then you're like, that's fine. I didn't know that's what brushes cost. Good Lord. That's why these artists are starving. I'll tell you what. And so anyway, I'm just talking about the art being big, and he just drifted away from me. During the conversation, then my wife showed up, and she's like, what's wrong, baby? And I was like, I just called the art big. And she's like, it is pretty big. And I'm like, I love you. Like, thank you for being on my team. That's what you need sometimes. You just need someone that's on your team, you know? That's why, like, I noticed, like, my wife and I are perfect for each other when we went to the Whitney, because there was a piece of art that was made with real reclaimed burnt wood. It was like wood that was in a fire. And it said in a plaque next to the art, like, hey, this was made of real burnt wood. And my wife went up, she read the plaque, and then she's like, that's real burnt wood. And I was like, you're my soulmate, baby. I think we're meant to be. You and I are supposed to know each other, you know. So yeah, we've had a good time. Last night was pretty wild. It's nice to be here in Stamford. Last night we were in Long Island somewhere. I'd never been to Long Island, and it was a very cool club, old-timey club, and it was run by, like, the mob, I think. That's what I like about the East Coast. There's still, like, stuff where, like, I think that guy's in the mob. And even if you politely bring it up, they go, hey, like, it's kind of like... They don't give you a yes or a no. They're just like... Like, it was this dude, he was Italian, he was probably in his 50s or something, slick back, grease back hair. He's wearing a purple suit with a black turtleneck. Oh, and he had a cane and shiny shoes, and he's like, I just had knee surgery. I'm like, that guy got shot in the knee, is what happened. There's no way that guy had knee surgery. That was from a bullet that he took to the knee. And he paid me in cash, which was insane. Just a dirty envelope of cash. And he's like, it's all there. And I'm like, all right. Like, he was real, but I couldn't tell. It was like what, like, a Disney movie thought a mobster was in like the 80s. You know, you watch, like, All Dogs Go to Heaven. I don't remember if there was a mobster in that movie, but if there was, it would have been... Oh, remember Oliver and Company? Remember that one? The mobster from that cartoon paid me cash in an envelope. And I was like, how do I even tell my agent about this? Like, I was just thinking of the taxes. I'm like, well, I got to pay him 10%. Do I just take out some of that? And I go, we're all off the books here, I think is what we're doing. I like that. That doesn't even happen anymore. It's good to get a little piece of danger, you know? That's what I like. That's honestly my favorite part of traveling. I don't want anything to ever happen to me, but I like the fear of it. I like the sense of a little bit of, ooh, you know? Just a little something. Like, I used to work cruise ships, and I used to hate working on them, but every once in a while we'd go through, like, a storm, and I'm like, yeah, dude, take it down. Take it down. But don't, but maybe. You know, like, but just that in between. Yeah, it was good. I guess the feeling, remember the asteroid that was going to hit? That was the feeling, like, yeah, dude, every day would be like 2%, now 3%. I'm like, nice, dude. It's just like this relief. Isn't it nice to know there's an end? You know, like, you ever read a book that you're enjoying and you stop and then you see how many pages are left and you're like, I can do this. No? All right. Even when I enjoy reading, I like to know how many pages are left because I'm like, all right, we can get through that. That's what the asteroid did for me. They're like, 7 years. And I'm like, yeah. I don't think past 7 years. I think 5 years. Like, my wife, she plans. She's like, what's your 5-year plan? I'm like, what? I only plan out as far as I have shows on the calendar. And then, I don't know, I might have to get a job. I don't... It's nice to know there's an asteroid coming, you know? Like, man, I got to finish the yard, you know? There's only 7 years to enjoy the yard. I'm trying. I don't know. But it's been fun. We've been having fun. My wife and I have been traveling, which I never did growing up because we grew up poor. You grow up poor, you don't travel. You might see a theme park once. Like, I grew up in Southern California, like, we're going to Disneyland again, you know? And they're like, are you going? I'm like, yeah, we went. And that was it. Like, it wasn't, like, with my mother, it wasn't even, it wasn't that she would get mad for me bringing it up. I just knew, that's where you put that. Hell yeah, it's all right. That's fine. See, the tables are too snug. If they would move them up a little bit, that guy would have had room to slip out, but they're all just crammed so far away. You guys, that's why no glasses are breaking here, because you guys shimmied up to the front. I'm telling you, whoever designed this room is laughing somewhere. Can't believe the check cleared, you know? Not because they don't have money, I just meant because of the design that he left. All right. I saw one person's face, and I'm like, oh, they didn't get the joke. I have to explain, but yeah. Yeah, we've been traveling, and like growing up, I would never ask my mom, like, hey, can we go to Disneyland again? She would just be like, why? We did it, you remember? We have pictures. We had pictures printed at the CVS. Here are the photos. There you are at Disneyland. And it's like, you don't need to go see it again. But now, you know, and then you get, they're like, you got to travel in your 20s. I didn't have any money in my 20s. We didn't travel anywhere. And then now I'm in my later 30s, and now we got some money, so I'm like, let's go. But it's kind of too late. You know, like, I don't have the excitement. It's not that great. I don't, like, before we go on a trip, we watch, like, YouTube videos on what to prepare for, and then we get there, and I'm like, man, those videos work clear. That is... It's not even better. It's better at home on the YouTube. Because then when you're done, you're at home. When we were done with Germany, we were still in Germany. And I'm like, man, this is a long-ass flight home. Gotta go through customs. I could have just learned a lot. Had to, it's educational. We were in Germany, so we went. We checked out some of the Nazi museums. That's important when you go. I feel like it's wrong to go and not do some of that. You're like, you should do that. That's important. And so we went. We went to like an administration building that the Nazis used in Cologne, and then that's now a museum. And we went and like we were listening to all the history and stuff. And then they said that, like, in the 30s, the Nazis took over this building. They signed a lease, and then they rented the building. And I was just, I couldn't. That's not what I thought they did. I didn't think they signed leases. I thought they just came in and they're like, this is ours now, and guns and kicking and stuff. And no, and then so I was just telling my wife, I'm like, can you believe that they signed? Like they came in with references and uns building for rent? And then the landlord's like, you guys seem like a couple good chaps. I think I'm going to rent you the building, And I just couldn't get beyond it, and I kept bringing it up. My wife's like, you're missing a lot of the tour. You got to get over the fact that they rented this building. And I'm like, it's just, I don't know. It's such a small part that I'm like, how? They're so, I don't know.
Hello, this is Zoltan Kaszas, and the year is 2025. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that mind-blowing? If you were just sent in from the past to the future, and this is how you're finding out the year, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. What the hell am I talking about? The point of this is I am on tour all year. It's what I do. A bunch of cities. I'm very excited to hit them all. If you'd like to see if I'm coming to a town near you, go to my website, zoltancomedy.com. There also might be a link in this video, maybe right over my eyes. I don't know what the editor is going to do with this. It could be in the description, what have you. But if it's not, zoltancomedy.com. Hit the shows tab, go down the list of shows, see if I'm coming to a town near you, and come see me so I can continue being a comedian and I don't have to go get a job where I'm a horrible employee. I've been told many times by numerous bosses. So please